Let's do a quick post-mortem on post-mortem. That's a hard word to say, post-mortem on the Indiana season, because they came in with the reputation of potentially being the best team. There you go. Tio's got the candle out. They came in with the reputation of potentially being the best team in the Big Ten this year. And we saw it in flashes, right, Tyler? Like, we saw moments where they looked like a team that was a real threat to get to a Final Four. But I think not having Xavier Johnson, I think having to rely on a freshman in Jalen Hood-Schifino that is kind of just like a mid-range score was a little bit too much. And then there wasn't enough of a supporting cast. I thought that we would get more out of Indiana, but maybe this is just who they are.
Yeah, and you can talk about that. Sometimes they no-show. I mean, I remember watching them play UNC in Indiana, just destroyed them. I thought they looked like the '96 Bulls. And then I watched them when they went to Kansas and played Kansas. Absolutely no-showed. And then, I said something about, and everyone hits me up on Twitter talking about how half the team's hurt. And if I don't care, like, hey, when are they healthy? And when are they at their best? That's my question. If you play, don't complain about injuries. But they just never hit their ceiling. It was a peaks and valley year for them.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think,
Tio,
Rob?
anything?
What do you think, Rob?
I told you, I thought that we would get more out of Indiana this year. And I think part of it is probably just the fact that Xavier Johnson was never there. And that was part of the reason why, a big part of the reason why that I thought that they were the best team in the Big Ten heading into the season was because of how well Xavier Johnson played in March last year. And not having that second creator, I think, is something that really affects you. If you look at teams that make runs in March, you got two guys in the backcourt. Tyson Walker and AJ Hogarth immediately come to mind. But then it's something like Davion Mitchell and Jared Butler, or being able to have Jalen Brunson and Ryan Arcidiacono in your backcourt, or Peyton Siva and Russ Smith, or Ryan Boatwright and Shabazz Napier, or Kemba Walker and Shabazz. Like, those are the teams that make runs. And when you only have one guy who's not really a passer and not really a guy that's going to be a threat outside of kind of getting to that mid-range pull-up, like, I think they were just kind of limited. And when you combine that with the fact they couldn't get a stop and couldn't get a defensive rebound against Miami, like, who knows? Miami's our ACC team, though, right? We got two ACC guys here.
Yeah, I mean, Miami's good, guys. Miami's good. I think they were quick to get discouraged this year. I think, like, because there was a couple of times today, especially early in the game, like, they would have a good defensive possession. They were swarming to the ball, and it just didn't matter because Isaiah Wong would hit one over the top, or O'Meara would get an offensive rebound and a putback. Like, it was a team in my mind that got quick to get frustrated. And then on top of that, like, with Xavier Johnson being out, like, it kind of took away how they were dynamic. But then at the same time, kind of on the flip side of that, like, that's when Jalen Hood-Schifino got going.
Yep.
So it was like, I don't know. They just weren't as good as we thought. Very good team, tournament team, won a game. Not as Final Four as we thought they would be.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing as Kentucky, right, Tyler? Like, if you're Indiana, if you're Kentucky, if you're Duke, if you're one of those programs,
I'm not putting Indiana in that group.
You're not putting
Don't put Indiana in that group.
I agree. It's been a while. And also, you got out rebounded by 17 points. Miami's not known for being just a physically dominant team on the boards. I mean, what they're known for is their backcourt in Wong and Miller. Wong was an ACC Player of the Year. He didn't have a very good first round game. I thought he kind of forced it, which is uncharacteristic for him. But through his ACC play, the reason people really liked him is because he let the game come to him, and he really got his teammates involved. And I thought that came with experience.
Today's episode is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, the easiest place to play college basketball pick'em, where you can get a little extra sweat during March Madness and win real cash prizes simply by picking player stats in this weekend's games. In pick'em, all you do is predict whether a player will go higher or lower on Underdog's projected totals, whether that's points, rebounds, whatever. For example, if you're like me and you think Zach Edey is going to go nuts in this tournament, pick higher on his points projection, add up to 4 more picks, and if you hit them all, you can win 20 times your money on a single game. Underdog's slick mobile app is easy enough that dummies like Jeff Goodman have even figured it out. So go to UnderdogFantasy.com or download the app and use the code FIELD, FIELD, and Underdog will match your deposit up to $100. Now is the time to get in on the madness. So remember, Underdog Fantasy, NCAAtournamentWest.com, promo code FIELD.